wheelchair accessible flat. It's taken me 42 years to get to this point, and it's amazing. It's absolutely brilliant.
And welcome to Chair Chat. This evening we're talking about the subject that is ideal to everybody, is a roof over your head. Now it's about accommodation. Now I'm going to introduce two very, very special people. I have on my right hand side Michael Merrett, and on my left hand side Trevor Jackson. Now Trevor Jackson is from IDS Housing. Trevor, what does IDS stand for?
Independent Disability Services. We were known as HRNSS, which was, as many people would have probably known, Housing Resource and Support Service.
That's a good name, independent. We want to encourage people with disabilities to live independently in the community and be socially included in all areas of life. How do you encourage people with disabilities that are your clients to be involved in the employment in the workplace?
With that, the client, when we meet with them and we look at what their goals are and what they would like to get from their life. If that includes employment, then we support them with that and look into various disability employment services that are available within the community.
Have many of your clients that are successful in achieving the type of employment they would like to have?
Yes, we do have some of our clients who are successfully employed for a few days a week. We also have quite a few clients who do a fair bit of voluntary work within the community.
Oh, that's good too.
Do you have actually any of your clients working for IDS, actually working in the office?
At the moment, we don't. We have, and we do open that up to people with a disability. Our board is actually all the people have a disability, and they ensure that we continue to work within the disability field and the changes and fully understand the needs for people with a disability.
Oh, that's great to have people who actually with disabilities who understand what other people with disabilities go through and what their needs are. So no, that's absolutely brilliant, don't you think, Michael?
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. What type of range of disabilities do people have who are your clients?
The range of disabilities within our service will physical disability, wheelchair to some form of mobility aid or prosthetic, and some do have a dual disability. They'll have an ABI, an intellectual disability, and some, of course, will have other disabilities.
What is that? What is the role of IDS?
The role of IDS still provide assistance with housing for people with a disability in accessing housing. We also provide case management for people with complex to difficult needs to live independently in the community. And also too, there's financial administration, which looks after people's funding and they ensure that all their invoices are paid on time each month, and they assist in maintaining the balance and the expenditures. We also have service and support coordination. The workers work with the clients in their care plans, accessing care agencies and their carers.
How long have you been actually located in Melbourne?
For the past 10, 12 years have been at 60 Leicester Street in Carlton.
Queen Victoria Markets, am I correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Not too
What
far
a
away.
great location. During your lunch break, you could whip down and have a quick barter down and buy something at Queen Vic Market.
Yeah, you get plenty of shopping done.
Indeed, indeed. Now, Michael, I'm actually going to fire a question at you. You've been in housing for
About
for how long?
23 years.
About 23 years. That's a long time for housing.
Relatively.
Has it been accessible to you and acceptable?
Not particularly. I mean, it's a place to live. I've lived in 3 different public housing units, a walk-up unit, then recently the high-rise flats at the North Richmond housing estate. And they were not very wheelchair accessible at all, and they didn't meet Australian standards. But recently, pardon me, I've moved into the stage 1 of the Richmond renewal plan in Elizabeth Street in Richmond, and it's 207 units, 10 of which are wheelchair accessible, and it's very good. I think it meets international standards of accessibility.
So you would
It's all
actually
ramps.
say that the unit that you've moved into now has become your ideal home after 23 years in housing?
Yes, most definitely. It's not exactly perfect, but it's as close as I'll ever get.
It's a start.
It's a very good start.
Who governs your housing? Is it DHS or is it a community housing resource people?
Well, that's a good question. I believe that the block that I am in, stage 1, is all public housing. Whether that might change in the future, I'm not sure. It's hard to say, but there has been a lot of concern by the public and the residents that some of the open spaces around the high-rise developments will be sold off to private developers. But those plans are all on hold for the moment, and we'll just have to see what the future holds for us all.
These private developers, they're a nasty lot of times. They come and sneak in the back door when nobody knows anything about, and up goes a high rise.
Well, I think it should be ideally the government's responsibility to pay for public housing, particularly for people with disabilities.
There are certain places that, and we've got houses, especially around where I live, have all the solar panels going onto their houses, and you see on the media that, here, buy this solar panel. Would IDS consider having solar panels installed on the houses?
Yes, definitely. Look, IDS, we don't own any housing ourselves as a service. We do work with the local government and various other community housing providers within the community. We do strongly support the need for that implementation of solar panels, water tanks, and what we've found over the past few years with a lot of the new developments that the government has undertaken with the community housing providers have included solar panels.
Exactly. On that note, the stage 1 of the Richmond renewal plan is a 6-star energy rating building with solar panels on it and water tanks, 5,000 plants and trees, all on an irrigated timer. And it's a really good building, so hopefully the government will build more of them soon. Wheelchair accessible units too.
All right, well, look, we had to actually wrap this segment up on this one about having you. Trevor, look, it's been an absolute delight having you in as a guest, and Michael, your knowledge and having your background in moving into a new home has been probably the greatest thing under
perfect
rice
timing.
pudding. Exactly.
For the show.
So we're going to wind this up, and we'll see you back shortly.